Hello there. Hi, we are here again today. Jerry Usher with Debbie Georgianni. After a wonderful taped show yesterday with Bishop Joseph Coffey of the Archdiocese for the Military Services, we are back live with you today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I am Jerry, along with Debbie Georgianni. And we hope and pray that you had a safe and sane and very fruitful and blessed Independence Day weekend, especially if it was a long weekend for you. But as is always the case, Debbie, we got to get back to work, hit the ground running. So here we go.
Oh, I'm so excited to be with the Take Two family. So, folks, I want you to weigh in on this question. If you could have dinner with anyone, living or deceased, who would it be? That's what we're asking today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. All you have to do is call in at 833-288 EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. Who would you like to have dinner with, living or deceased? Who would it be? We want to hear from you and tell us why. What's the reason? We want to learn about each other and grow as a family. So don't sit this out. This is a new, almost a full week of shows because we had the break yesterday, but this is your time to show up strong, and let's have a very robust discussion about this.
All right, again, it's 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. It's a little bit of just kind of imagining something here today. Again, as Debbie said, if you could dine with someone living or deceased, who would that be, and what would your reason for that be? And we've done this topic before, Debbie, and I don't remember, did it go to a part 2? I know it was a very popular episode when we did it.
Oh, super popular. And yes, I mean, I think it's a great thing to revisit once in a while, because it allows us to explore the reasons why we want to dine with that special person. And we can get to, know a lot about ourselves. And that's important. And then also how important it is that meals bring people together, right? So if you go to have dinner with somebody, normally you learn a little bit more about that person. And it's pretty interesting. And so, Jerry, I think last time we shared, I mean, for me, it would be obviously Padre Pio. I would definitely want to have dinner with him. Also, I think I was thinking about it last night, like my great grandparents, and then people that I never met before that are part of the family. I think would be pretty cool. What do you think?
Well, I think as we have gone on a little over halfway in this year of St. Joseph, I think it would be really awesome to have a meal with St. Joseph and to be able to share with him, or have him share with me, more intimate details of his role in the Holy Family and what Jesus was like when he was growing up, and what life was like in the home of the Holy Family. So I think St. Joseph is definitely one. There'd probably be a lot of people I could mention on this, but St. Joseph would certainly be at the top of the list.
Yeah, very much so. So we want to hear from you, dear listeners. This is your show. This is where you take it away. We learn from you. All you got to do to be on air with us is dial 1-833-288-3986. Again, that's 833-288-3986. And please fill up the phone lines and let us know who you would, if you had your dream dinner event with, who would that be? Somebody living, somebody deceased, a saint? Recently I think somebody was saying that they would love to have dinner with St. Peter. That's interesting, huh?
Yeah, it is. That would be, it would, St. Martha, I think, whose feast day is coming up on the 29th of this month, is one of, or the patron saint of cooks and also housekeepers, of course, because Martha and Mary, the story in the Bible. So St. Martha might be somebody to want to have that meal with, because I'll bet she put together a mean spread, especially for special occasions, St. Martha.
A mean spread. That's
That's
a good thing to
Mm-hmm.
Is that your new word? So, boy,
you're
getting really cool in your older years.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I don't feel more than 5 days older than 60 right now.
That's hilarious. So who would you like to have dinner with, living or deceased? We want to hear from you. Please call in. Some people are still coming off of the long weekend and vacation. I know Jerry celebrated his birthday. Marty celebrated his birthday on July 3rd. Everybody's still kind of getting back into the swing of things, but we would really love to hear from you. So if you are driving, maybe driving home from a beautiful little vacay, pull over safely to the side of the road and make a call because we need you. The number to dial is 833-288-3986 and tell us who you would like to have dinner with. And don't let it be us because we never leave the dinner table.
We have a lot of ways you can get a hold of us as well. You can email take2@EWTN.com. You can post on the show website, take2show.com, which is how Linda commented on this topic. Linda said, if I had one more chance to have dinner with someone, I'd choose my father who passed away 2.5 years ago. I'd love to have the chance to tell him how much I cared and how much I wished that we had had a better, closer, and healthier relationship, how much I miss him and the relationship we could have had / should have had. And that is from Linda via email at take2show.com.
So we put this back on the calendar, actually, because this is the anniversary. 11 years ago today, my dad died. And so that was the reason that kind of prompted us to put this back on the calendar, on the show calendar, because I would love to have dinner with him. He was so much fun to go out to eat with, because not only did he pick up the bill, but but it was fun. He was very entertaining.
I'll bet.
So
I'll bet. Yeah. Well, that's your question today as we get set to go to your calls and your emails, and you can post on social media. We are streaming the video on Facebook and YouTube, the EWTN Catholic Radio channels there. And Debbie just waved, and I'm waving at you as well. You can text the letters EWTN to 55000, wait for a response, and then put in your comments. There might be a small data rate depending on your plan, but it's your show to take and run with it right now. Who would you like to have dinner with, living or deceased? It could be a saint. It could be a relative. It could be somebody you never knew, but a famous person. Maybe not so famous. Maybe somebody that only you knew and you miss, and you would love to have that one more meal with them if you could. 833-288-EWTN. 833-288-3986. Back to live shows here today after our tape show yesterday, and we want to get off and running on a great start with your participation, Take Two family. So let's go. Let's load up those phone lines at 833-288-3986.
EWTN podcasts are the perfect companion for busy Catholics everywhere. Your favorite EWTN programs are waiting for you to listen to on your time. With on-demand access to audio, you can pause and pick up right where you left off, anytime, anywhere. Just subscribe by using your mobile device's free podcast app. Find old favorites or discover something new. EWTN podcasts. They're waiting for you.
War of words. Conservative senators question the amount of taxpayer money Planned Parenthood received from the Paycheck Protection Program, investigating abuse cases. Why Pope Francis ordered an apostolic visitation of an archdiocese in Germany. Inner city revitalization. The Archbishop of Baltimore shares new initiatives to serve young people.
EWTN News Nightly with Tracy Sable. Tonight, 9 Eastern on EWTN Television and Radio.
I have a quote for you now from Mother Angelica's perpetual calendar. If I'm not in sanctifying grace and doing the will of God, my mind will be cluttered with somebody or something else. We run around most of the time with cluttered minds. Then when we go to pray, we can't. Well, what were you doing and thinking before your prayer? Mother Angelica's perpetual calendar is available at EWTNRC.com.
Question today: Who would you like to have dinner with, living or deceased? Anybody. Just pick anybody that you just comes to mind, and you just say, I would really love to have one more dinner with that person, or I'd like to get to meet that person over dinner. So we want to hear from you, 833-288-3986. And before Jerry and I go to the phones, I just wanted to highlight real quickly, if I may, Jerry, and that is EWTN offers the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass from Our Lady of the Angels Chapel live every day at 8 8 a.m. Eastern, right after the Sunrise Morning Show. And to be sure you don't miss, be sure that you don't miss out, we can send you a link to your email inbox every day. All you have to do is visit EWTN.com and click on subscribe. And this way you'll get that just beautiful reminder to be able to watch Mass. I think it's, or listen to Mass. It's great.
It is. Yeah, Mass, obviously important. You talk about having a meal with someone. Well, we get a meal, a blessed divine meal every time that we go to Mass, the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus. So if you're not able to make it to Mass, great reminder from Debbie to be able to listen here on EWTN Radio. Okay, we have a lot of calls that people have called in to share their comments on whom they would like to have dinner with if they could, someone living or deceased. We're going to go to the phones right now to Massachusetts. Henry, listening on the Station of the Cross. Hi, Henry. Welcome to Take Two.
Hey, thank you. Good to be here. And the person I would like to have dinner with, I chose Jesus Christ. I think that's an obvious one, but I would also have dinner with Mary of Magdalene, too. And I think I would just ask for advice, how to, persevere and really serve God and not get distracted by even, like, the little things, and just how to, be the best Catholic I could be.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful choice, obviously, Jesus Christ, and he had the Last Supper with his apostles. Is there anything, the Bible tells us, and in one of John's writings says, the Bible, there were many more things Jesus said and did that the world could not contain the volumes. Is there anything you would like to ask him, anything you'd like to know that we don't know from Scripture or tradition, Henry?
Oh, that's a good question.
It could be a long meal,
Yeah, right. Well, honestly, I need time to think about that. That's a really good question. I think I just ask him, how I could best serve him, or what he would want me to do with my life. So
beautiful. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
Do you know what?
Thank you for having me. Oh, sorry.
Well, Henry, before we let you go, Henry, don't go anywhere yet. I just wanted to say something about your comment about, just kind of getting an idea of the roadmap, of the way to get close to God, right? And you said to remove those distractions or things we can do. I think that's so beautiful, and it's very telling of your love for wanting to please God. As soon as I heard you speak, I'm like, wow, he wants to have dinner with Jesus Christ. Why? Because he loves him and he wants to have a relationship with him, and he wants to get closer to God, and he wants to ask God himself, right? How do I get close to you? I think it's very telling of your heart, and that's a beautiful thing. I just wanted to say that because I noticed it right away.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's very kind to hear. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I concur, Henry. I heard the same thing. Well, thank you for the call. Thanks for getting us started here on this Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on a Tuesday broadcast. If you could have dinner, a meal with one person, living or deceased, or more than one if you want, who would that be? And not just who, but maybe share why. What would you like to know from them or share with them, or just spend a little time with them again? 833-288-3986. Thanks again, Henry. And we go to Teresa in San Antonio, listening on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hello, Teresa. Good to have you with us. Welcome.
Hi, this is my first time ever calling your station.
Oh,
Although
thank you.
I listen to it all the time. Anyway, my person that I would pick for dinner, for a dinner guest, would be St. Paul.
Okay. And there has to be at least one reason for that, probably several. Is there anything you want to share about why you'd like to have that real special time with St. Paul?
Well, because, excuse me, Paul was a murderer, and he used to go and take Christian people and turn them in so they could be murdered and all. But then he did an about-face, completely a 360 on the way to Damascus. And it's, to me, that in itself caught me, because not only did he hear from Jesus, but he changed completely because of that one road trip to Damascus. And I think that's amazing because I don't know most people. Well, of course, I don't know saints or anything, but it would seem that he would just continue on, to do what he was doing, because apparently he, that was his thing he did. But anyway, I think it was just wonderful the way Paul changed his life completely in that one instance. And not only that, he changed all our lives, because he immediately taught the Lord Jesus. He taught us Jesus, and he gave us Jesus. And to me, that's the most wonderful, gift for me. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you very much.
Wow. That is beautiful. That is so beautiful, Teresa. And I just wanted to say, the conversion of St. Paul, it was amazing. It was truly amazing, and I think that is available for all of us. The ability to make that complete turn, and then we focus on God, and then we just allow God to work in our lives the way he did with St. Paul. And I think that is an amazing person for you to pick. And you're right. You would learn a lot from him. Right, Jerry?
Yeah, St. Paul. You are right about, Teresa, your assessment of him. He was one who stood by and watched the murdering of Christians and so forth, and gave his consent and approval to that. Then he had that, of course, that Damascus Road conversion experience. And one thing, it would be beautiful to have a meal with St. Paul, because he became so humble. He started out, I think in one of his writings, he refers to himself as, the greatest of the apostles, or a super apostle. I'm paraphrasing badly here. But by the end of his writings, he was saying, I, Paul, the least among the apostles. He had taken an amazing journey. And, again, it went from being one who hated Christians, oversaw their murder, all the way to being kind of a prideful apostle and follower of Jesus, then all the way to being very, very humble, and ultimately giving up his life for the gospel and for Jesus. What do you think, Teresa?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's very well said. And
thank you.
I appreciate your show every day, and I learned so much from it. So I wanted to thank you and say God bless.
Oh, God bless you, Teresa. Please pray for us, and we will for you, okay?
Yes, thank you.
God bless you.
Bye.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you. We love your name, too. You have a great name. Okay. Beautiful. What a beautiful call. Okay, where are we going next?
Well, I will give out the phone number again, because the line is available. Talking today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. If you could have a meal, share dinner with anyone of your choice, anyone who's living or deceased. Again, it's kind of an imaginary thing, but still, I think it can be very meaningful for us to do this exercise that we're doing here today. The number is 833-288-3986, and we are going to Judy in Flint, Michigan, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Judy. Welcome to Take Two.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you today?
Doing pretty well. How about you? How was your holiday weekend?
Well, it was a wonderful weekend, and right now it's taken me an hour and 45 minutes to get 5 miles down the expressway.
Oh, my.
It's all right. No big deal. I got you on the radio, and I'm not in a rush to get anywhere, so it's all good.
Oh, good. Praise God.
Yeah, amen to that.
So who go ahead.
Two people. The first one would be Mother Teresa of Calcutta.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know what kept her going on her path of charity. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard that she has said that she never felt the presence of God in her life. That she never really felt that he was there. And if that is true, What motivated her? What kept her on the path that God has set her on? What kept her going?
Mm-hmm.
But without feeling that presence. That would,
Well,
as
can
weak
I
as
comment
I
on
am,
that, Jerry?
absolutely.
Go ahead.
Okay, real quickly, the stories that I have read about Mother Teresa, and I was really, really fortunate when she visited here in Arizona, and a lot of my dear friends actually did have dinner with her and drove her around and all that. Learned a lot. They learned a lot about her. So she had those. From my understanding, she had these kind of dry spells, if you will, when it came to her spirituality, in the sense that not that she ever, doubted her faith or doubted, what the truth was. It's this idea that as she was growing closer to God, sometimes you can almost feel like you're distant. It's a strange dynamic, and St. John of the Cross, and there's other saints that had it as well. But there's this strange dynamic that as you're getting closer to God, there's almost like a feeling of not experiencing Him. Because he is so close. I believe that's what I believe anyway. He was so close to Mother Teresa that he was so close that she didn't feel him. It's kind of interesting, because the quest for finding God, the quest for getting close to God, you do look for those elements that say, yeah, God is present. Yeah, that's where God is. And so you kind of walk your way along and getting closer to God, feeling those little touches from God. Whereas when God is so close, it almost feels like he's not present. Tell me if I'm right or wrong on this, Jerry, because that's what I kind of extracted, or I got from what Mother Teresa went through, and John of the Cross and others as well.
Yeah, it's often called a dark night of the spirit or a dark night of the soul. And you're right. What happens often is God will give us consolations early in our relationship with Him. It's sometimes called the honeymoon phase, if you will, or the mountaintop experience. And then He will withdraw these consolations, and we have to seek Him for who He is, simply because of who He is, and not because of the candy that we get sometimes. And I remember St. Francis of Sales has a great saying about that. He says, we are to seek the God of consolations, not the consolations of God. And so, Judy, I think that's what kept Mother Teresa and so many other of the great saints going, is they knew that regardless of whether they were feeling like they wanted to do it or feeling His presence at all, they knew intellectually, and they had that relational experience with Him to such a degree that they just knew it was the right thing to do. And that is the purging that we all sort of must go through at some point, either in this life or the next. So anyway, what do you think about all that, Judy? And then I know you have one other person as well.
I really appreciate that input. It clarifies a lot of things for me. I really do.
Good.
The second person is my husband, who passed away in April. I'd love to have one more meal with him.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's very recent.
Can we get
one more?
Yes. Could we get his name for his first name for our book, Judy?
Bill.
Bill.
And you know what an
Judy,
awesome blessing we had. We had such an awesome blessing. He was baptized a month before he passed.
Oh, wow. Praise God for that.
You don't talk about a gift. He was baptized, confirmed, anointed, and communion all in one afternoon.
What a blessing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, in so many ways.
I'll bet that was something you had been praying for a long time, huh, Judy?
Oh, it was, and yeah.
Yeah.
When I called the priest, he said, "How old is he?" I said, 81. He said, "We have to get moving on this one."
Yeah. Well, God.
It was so great a gift.
Yeah. God provided
So
the time.
Don't give up those prayers, people.
Yeah.
Don't give up those prayers.
Absolutely. That's a great reminder for those who are praying for that special someone in their lives to come to know God and get baptized and reach that eternal peace and God's rest. So, Judy, thank you so much for sharing all that you did today. You've really helped to make this a beautiful broadcast, and we'll pray for Bill and for you for comfort and consolation for all of your family. Okay, be assured of our prayers.
Thank you, and I hope you have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you. Thank you so much, Judy.
Thank you, Judy. That's my dad's name. I'll always remember it. That's his name as well. Jerry, can I just say something real quickly?
Mm-hmm.
I state certain theological concepts in my own Debbie way, and then you clean it all up in that real professional.
No,
So
what you
thank
said was
very much.
beautiful.
Oh, it's all good, right?
Yep.
All good. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Please join us, 833-288-39.
The words of Blessed Carlo Acutis.
Our soul is like a hot air balloon. If by chance there's a mortal sin, the soul falls to the ground. Confession is like the fire underneath the balloon, enabling the soul to rise again. That's why it's important to go to confession often.
Have you become a member of the Inspired by Faith Book and Fellowship Club yet? It's part of our ministry, and it's free to join. Just log on to standtalltoday.com and click on the Book Club tab at the top of the page. You'll be joining over 300 other avid readers who come together at the end of each month for a Facebook chat about that month's book, selected by our facilitator, Gigi. Come on in. Go to standtalltoday.com and sign up by clicking the Book Club tab. We look forward to having you with us.
Have you ever heard someone say, all religions are basically the same thing? They only differ in their external forms, in the way they express it. G.K. Chesterton says the truth is precisely the other way around. The religions of the world do not greatly differ in rites and forms. They do differ greatly in what they teach. There's only one religion that believes that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, that he suffered and died for our sins, that he rose from the dead. Only one religion that believes in one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, the communion of saints, the resurrection of the body, and life everlasting.
Spend more time with the Apostle of Common Sense. Visit chesterton.org for more information and go to EWTNRC.com to discover more books and programs written and inspired by G.K. Chesterton.
Hi, this is Janet Williams. You don't have to be a woman to enjoy Women of Grace tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern here on EWTN Radio. Now, back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
This is your show. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. And our show team, Michael Birchfield, is on the board. He's producing on the controls today. Jeff Burson on social media. We have, I'm not sure who is screening calls today. Is Rich back today? Michael, maybe you can let us know. Rich Jesse is usually the call screener. Michael McCall did a great job last week for several days. And Rich Jesse is on the phones today at 833-288-3986. Debbie, we're asking people if they could dine with someone living or deceased, who would that be? And we have a lot of people to get to still.
We do. So if you want to jump in on this long list and see if we can get you on the air as well, just dial 833-288-3986, but do it quickly, please. Linda is up next in Wichita, Kansas. Catholic Radio Network is the way she is listening. Hi, Linda. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi. Good to be here.
Good to have you. How are you?
Fine. Thank you.
Good.
Well, the people I'd like to dine with are all deceased, and they may not be canonized saints. Of course, I feel like they're probably saints, and that's my grandparents and my parents, and actually probably my great-grandparents, because I never knew them. I never really got to know my grandfathers either, but just to be able to have a meal with them and get to know more family history and what brought them to Kansas and made me who I am. And probably want to add, I'll get teary-eyed here, my husband, who passed away 3 years ago.
And we're sorry for your loss. Yeah.
But, there's just a lot of history and gave me the Catholic faith, which is so important.
Yeah. That is. That's the most important thing, Linda. You can thank God for that. I really can thank God for that in my life, too. I only knew one of my 4 grandparents. So the others died very young. So I, like you, you've just given me the thought, too, that it would be great to have some time with, dine with, just visit with some of my ancestors as well, just to find out a little bit more about my family. But the main thing that I can thank God for and thank them for is the Catholic faith. And Linda, you probably know if you listen to the show, Debbie keeps a book. She writes the names of people living and deceased. And if you want to give us your late husband's name, we'd be happy to put him in there, and you and your whole family. So if there's any names you want us to put in our book, go ahead and you can let Debbie know right now.
We'll start with my husband, and that was Fred.
Okay.
And I'm not going to go through the other 6 or whatever. But yeah,
And Linda, I just want to comment. Yeah. I just want to comment real quickly. Again, this is very revealing of who you are. Your heart. Your heart is with family. You talked about your great-grandparents, your grandparents, your parents, your late sweet husband, Fred. That just goes to show the love you have in your heart for family. And I think what's wonderful about this beautiful conversation that we're having today is Jerry said it best. It is an exercise. It's an exercise on what's really important when it comes to relationships, what's really important in our lives, and what we want to learn more about and to grow from. And I think it's just a wonderful way. Because when are you going to really do this, right, Jerry and Linda? When are you going to talk with people and say, "Hey, I'd like to have dinner with St. Paul," or "I'd like to have dinner with Jesus"? This is a beautiful way we can express that, and we learn about each other. So thank you, Linda.
Well, thank you. And I just thought of another person who's living that, and as you've spoken, the Mass is the ultimate meal. And we have a daughter who lives out of state, have no contact with her, and she's not living the Catholic faith at all, and a totally reverse lifestyle, I'll say. And it would be wonderful to have her back in the church and going to Mass and having that meal with us.
Yeah. Well, we're going to add her. We don't need to ask you her name or anything.
That's okay.
Yeah. But we will definitely pray for that. That has to be, all that you've shared so far has been very beautiful and very touching, and this is touching as well. But it's got to be a source of great pain in your heart, Linda. And just know that, the Lord sees that pain. He feels that pain. He died for each and every one of us. And, I can't remember now who the caller was a couple minutes ago, Debbie, whose husband, got baptized, confirmed, and all of that, basically a month before he died at the age of 81. So, Linda, just be hopeful. Be hopeful. Right. Debbie's favorite saint, one of them is Padre Pio, St. Pio. He says, pray, hope, and don't worry. So we'll pray along with you for your daughter and for all of your family and for you as well, Linda.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Have a great day. Good calls, Debbie, so far.
Beautiful. Yeah. Were you referring to Judy's husband, Bill?
Yeah. Yes.
Is that who you were mentioning? Yeah. That got all the sacraments before he passed?
Yeah. What a great story.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Fabulous. This is why we do this show, so we can learn and grow, and it can deepen our own faith life as well. And that's why Take Two works. So we need your participation, though. So send us a comment. Don't forget to do that. We're on Facebook and YouTube. You can send a comment there so quickly. But we're going to go back to the phones. Michael in Boston, Massachusetts, listening on the Station of the Cross. Who do you want to have dinner with, Michael?
Hello, Jerry and Debbie. Still kicking here in South Boston.
Good, Michael.
First of all, let me start off. First, I want to say happy belated birthday to you, Jerry. I'm a July baby, too, on the feast of St. Anne, and that's coming up. So listen, I know this is going to sound strange, but here's my pick. But first, let me say there's tons of people I'd love to have dinner with. And if I play my cards right, I'll get to have it with them at the eternal banquet forever, you know. So, but this person, I'm not quite sure. I'm not making any estimations of where he is. But I'd like to have dinner with Judas. And the reason is because the Gospels only say so much. I would love to get into that guy's head and find out the reason he turned on Jesus, and when did he become disenchanted with it. But first of all, how did you feel when you first met him? Weren't you just totally blown away, taken away, and what changed? Was it your greed? Was it jealousy? How much did Satan play in this? And didn't you have to know what the Sanhedrin was going to do? That they were going to kill him, and you had some second thoughts because you threw them the 30 pieces of silver back. So I'd love to know that. And Ann, what kind of feelings of despair went to it? How did Satan play a part in that? What was everything that went on? Why didn't you feel you couldn't go back to Jesus and fall on him on mercy? Because I'd like to break the news to him. He forgave you from the cross. So I would love to get that story and just really find out what motivated it. Because I think it could help a lot of people to find that out.
That's interesting. I don't think I've ever heard anybody that's said they wanted to have dinner to get into his mind. That is fascinating, Michael. First of all, I just want to say happy early birthday, July 26th, the Feast of St. Anne. The reason why I know that is because that's my middle name, and so July 26th is a great day to be born, Michael. So happy early birthday to you. But that's fascinating to think about, how he... what was his mindset during all of the betrayal and then his despair and then of course all the destruction that happened. Wow, what do you think, Jerry?
Well, yeah, and I'm trying to think. I remember in I think it's Luke's gospel, late in the gospel, around the time of the betrayal, it says Satan entered into Judas, and I think we all want to deepen our relationship with Jesus. This is a good contemporary point for all of us as well. We want to have that very, very strong, solid relationship with Jesus, not wishy-washy, not weak, not taking things for granted, not living in a presumptuous way. Because look, one of the 12 that Jesus handpicked placed himself in such a position that Satan was able to enter into him and lead him to do maybe I think unquestionably the most despicable, horrible sin ever committed, and that is betray Jesus to his death. But yeah, Michael, this is fascinating. How long did it take you to come up with this, Michael? Because there's, like you said, there are a lot of others you probably would love to have that meal with, and you said, right. God willing, you will have that chance. But this is very unique. Nobody's this is the first time anyone's ever said Judas.
Well, because of the very fact, because like I said, if I play my cards right, I'll be having eternity to have banquets upon banquets with everybody I've loved and people I don't know, and that's all we'll have is forever to get acquainted with each other. And there's just that one person I always kind of, even though he was a rat in a way, I felt like, I felt bad because I knew he had he broke his own heart too, but unlike Peter, who repented, he didn't. He despaired and he went against it all and killed himself. And I just want to get, maybe it's a policeman in me or whatever, but I just want to get that inner part. And again, so maybe it's a lesson for all of us. He started out as one, he had to be really blown away, like I said, when he met Jesus. So how maybe, like you say, Satan got in, pride got in, jealousy, all the same things that got Satan kicked out of heaven, got him, and Jesus would, I think, totally showed mercy on him. If he said, what I was about to do, I'm not going to do it, that would have changed history. I suppose someone had to do it, and Satan got into him that much. But it was just always, there was always these missing pieces of the puzzle.
So it would be an interrogation meal from one former policeman.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe some bread and water.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's the detective side of you, Michael.
That's right. But it was just that. It was just like, boy, I would love to hear his, not that he had a good reason, but just all the things that maybe we could all say, we're all capable of one way or another of betraying Jesus.
Yeah.
How many times a day,
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, but you say something very important, Michael. We have the capability of doing that, turning our back on Jesus very easily. But for us we have to prevent falling into despair, because once you go into that place, that dark place, it's very hard to get out of it. And he clearly, Judas, obviously spiraled downward so fast. And you're right, Michael. If he had just, asked for forgiveness or done something, possibly there was that thought of him doing that, or he thought of it. But then it was so dark. It was so deep, and that's why that's a good lesson for all of us, not to get too far away from the light. Right, Jerry?
Yeah. He understood the magnitude of what he had done, and it overwhelmed him. Jesus would have not only forgiven him if he had gone to Jesus and said, what I was about to do, I'm not going to do, like you said, Michael, but even if he had betrayed Jesus and still gone to Jesus, this is the mind-blowing love that Jesus has for everyone and anyone. Even Judas could have gone to him and said, Lord, I betrayed you, I'm so sorry, and Jesus from the cross, or even before that, would have forgiven him. So, great call, Michael.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And I'll tell you one thing. Everybody remember, there's a guy named Father Kelly. He started the Christmas, and he says it's better to light one small penny candle than to curse the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Because a little bit of light can penetrate all that dark.
Amen.
I wish you guys well. Have a great summer.
Thank you. Happy birthday ahead of time, too, like Debbie said, Michael. Good to hear from you in Boston. Appreciate that. 833-288-3986. And to help keep us close to Jesus, it's always a wise thing to go to Mary, his mother. She says in the Bible, do whatever he tells you. If we cultivate our devotion to our Blessed Mother, we do well in our relationship with Jesus. We make it even stronger. And you can do that every evening with EWTN Radio at 9:30 Eastern Time. Father Benedict Rochelle leads you in the Rosary on EWTN Radio, and the Holy Rosary has been airing twice a day on EWTN for over 25 years. And remember, again, the evening version is at 9:30 Eastern Time p.m. with Father Benedict Rochelle right here on many of these same EWTN stations.
That's the one Marty and I pray. I love that one. Okay, we're going to go to Diana in Moses Lake, Washington, and is listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Diana. Welcome.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. How are you guys?
Doing well, Diana. How about you?
Great. Thinking of wanting to have dinner with my son, Benjamin, that passed away 27 years ago. Accidental gun accident by his best friend. And even though it was the most painful event of my life, losing my son at the age of 17, there was a lot of blessings that came out of that. God definitely was by our side. He had 4 masses before he was buried, one of them by our bishop. And what was so awesome, too, is a year after his friend accidentally shot and killed our son, we were his confirmation padrinos, how do you say, confirmation
Sponsors?
Sponsors, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And only God can do that. When this happened, we were very active in the Cursillo movement, and of course, if we don't forgive, we won't be forgiven. And so God blessed us abundantly, through this whole ordeal. And I just wanted to tell you, I would love to have dinner with my son.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We're very, very sorry, Diana, to hear about that. What a very unfortunate manner in which he went home to the Lord. And you have certainly our condolences and our prayers. You mentioned it's been 27 years. But it still probably never gets a whole lot easier. But what a beautiful story that even after that fact, you were able to be the sponsors, or like you said, the padrinos for the young man who accidentally, killed your son. So that had to be, in many ways, a very, very special blessing.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And to this day, he calls us, and he's very much in our life. So everyone that I can think of. I'd like to have dinner with a lot of people, but I think he's my son right now is the one I would love to have dinner with.
Mm-hmm.
That is so beautiful. You know, Diana, a mother's love, it never, ever, ever diminishes. I mean, it just actually grows. And I just, my heart breaks for you that they say the pain is so great when a parent has to bury their child. And so our hearts go out to you. We love you. You are a great mom. And Benjamin is so fortunate to have you as his mom. And you know, I guess I know it's probably not the right thing to say because there's never any good words to describe. And when children or adult children go before their parents, but we as Catholic Christians, we have to focus on eternity, because if we don't, this whole entire world and everything that goes on in it will make us just really fall possibly into that despair that we talked about. And so we have to focus on the big picture. And I can't wait for when your time is completely finished here, that you have that joyous reunion with your son, Diana.
Yes, and that's what got us. My husband is a deacon in the Catholic Church, and so our faith definitely is what got us through and has gotten us through all the trials of life. And definitely, it's knowing that someday I'm going to give that hug again to my son, and that I will see him. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm sure of that. I feel that in my heart. And so I just wanted to share this story with you guys. You guys, God bless you.
Well, God bless you, Diana. Yeah, very, very sweet of you to call. And again, be assured of our prayers, ongoing prayers for Benjamin, for you, for your husband. Thank him for being a deacon, and we thank you for being a deacon's wife, because a man and a woman go into that vocation, in a sense, together. The man gets ordained, but I know the woman, the couple go through the whole formation process together, and you have to be totally on board with that, Diana. So thank you for being a deacon's wife, and thank you for calling our program today. We appreciate it very, very much. We have a few social media comments, Debbie, if you don't mind. I will read a couple of these off. People watching on YouTube.
And also, we've got a highlight, too.
A highlight?
Yeah, I just want to make sure. Do we want to highlight anything for our listeners of EWTN? Did we do that?
I did, yeah. The rosary?
Oh, okay. I didn't hear it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. You see, I can't even remember what I ate for breakfast. Okay, let's move ahead.
Lulu said she would love to have a meal with Fulton Sheen, Padre Pio, and Mother Angelica. That's a powerful three right there. Michael M. said, Julia Child, that woman knew how to cook. Indeed, that would be a great meal, Michael M. Michael J., if I had to pick
come on, you're just going for the food.
Yeah, right. Well, that's just what this whole thing's about, right? It's about the meal first, isn't it?
Right, I love it.
Michael J., if I had to pick a non-church related person, Buster Keaton, within the church, St. John Paul II. Michael P. said, I would like to have dinner with Jesus, Mary, Joseph, Anne, Joachim, St. Faustina, and Ludwig von Beethoven. That's Michael P. on social media.
Wow. You guys are really thinking outside the box. This is awesome. Oh, way to go. I love the Take Two family. Okay, can we squeeze in a couple more calls?
Sure.
What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's go for it.
Caesar is up next in San Antonio, Texas, listening on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Caesar. Welcome.
Hello there. How are you guys?
Doing well, Caesar. How about you?
Real good, thank you.
So go ahead.
Well, the person that I thought of, well, I've always wanted, of course, Jesus Christ is number one, but I've always thought about having dinner with Elvis, because it's so unfortunate that, Elvis Presley, because it's so unfortunate that he left us so soon. And I know for a fact that his mother was a huge influence on him, and the church also. I know that as a young boy, and he was going to church with his mom, and that's how he got started with his singing career. And I just, deep inside my heart, I've always wanted to know just what he thought about Jesus Christ. And because I know it's something that he always had in his mind, was that he always questioned why him, all this fame and fortune and everything else. And the fact that he was a twin also was on his mind a lot because, of course, his twin died and he survived. So he always wondered about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that he loved singing gospel songs. And I just wondered, what his relationship was with Jesus Christ. Because they say that when he died either, some say he died reading the Torah, and others say he died reading the Bible. So that's just something that I've always wondered, just where his heart was.
Well, Caesar, I don't know if you know this. I think I mentioned it, twice in the 6 years we've been doing the show, so I don't know how long you've been listening, but I'm a big Elvis fan. I actually have it programmed in on Sirius, and I love the Elvis station, and I read a lot about him as well, and I read the same things, that he really preferred gospel music over the, rock and roll that he used to perform, and that he did have a very deep side, a very deep spiritual side to him. And the fact that he was the surviving twin, he did live with a lot of psychological kind of trauma and turmoil from that. And then he had a kind of a unique relationship with his mother that some could maybe view, if they were looking at it from the outside, as maybe a little bit of a codependency or a little kind of a unique relationship he had with his mother. So it is very interesting. And his life was filled with a lot of ups and downs and twists and turns. And it's unfortunate that he chose to medicate himself, and then it got out of control. And that's, eventually what took his life, because he was so incredibly talented. And I do believe he had a deep spiritual part to him. What do you think, Jerry? Do you know a lot about Elvis?
Not a lot, but I think he did a very beautiful rendition of Ave Maria, didn't he? Didn't he have a beautiful Ave Maria version?
There were several. There were several hymns that he loved to perform, and when he did, you could tell. I'm sure Caesar would agree with this. You could tell that he really did put his heart and soul into it. Wouldn't you say that, Caesar?
Oh, absolutely. To this day, I don't think. Hearing all those old hymns and gospel songs, I can't think of anyone that sings them with such emotion and heart.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Especially the
I totally agree.
How great thou art, the live version.
How great thou art. Yes. Yeah. Yes, absolutely, Caesar. Folks should really somehow find it on YouTube or something. That How Great Thou Art. You're absolutely correct. Spot on. He puts all of his being into the song, Jerry. It's pretty amazing, and that's got to show. The kind of goes to the heart of who the person is when it comes to their relationship with God. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, definitely. Caesar, thanks for the call. Carol, Leslie, DeWitt, Michael, we are just out of time. You hear that music. Tomorrow we're going to ask you another question. When God looks at you, what does he see? Sometimes we struggle with kind of our self-image, our self-perception. We are all made in the image and likeness of God, beloved sons and daughters of him. But do we really acknowledge that and live that way? When God looks at you, what does he see? That's our topic tomorrow.
Pretty exciting, so be thinking about it. And Leslie, you said you wanted to have dinner with us in St. Augustine. Okay, we'll take up that invitation. Anytime we'll come to Texas. Until tomorrow, have a beautiful and blessed day. St. Joseph, please.
Next time on EWTN Live, connect with Father John Trigilio, host of EWTN's Web of Faith 2.0, as he and Father